you. This is going to be a lot less formal today. What came over me yesterday as a result of a conversation I had with our newest student, Corin, um, and I was contemplating a few things. In this section of what we're talking about, what we're teaching right now, it's really all about, um, getting into your practice and as you're being the energy healer, right? Some things to pay attention to, some things to look out for, some things that I just employ in my own practice, and I want to share them with you to hopefully aid you. And one of the things that came out and was really on my heart was boundaries. Setting up or having boundaries in every area of your life and not becoming entangled or allowing folks to become dependent on you, and you not becoming codependent with them as you're working with them or even in any other area of your life. So I want to have that boundary talk with you guys. The first thing that I want you to know is all of us are going to or have already encountered people that we're working with that end up coming back and coming back and coming back, but coming back to us and not having done any of the work that we encouraged them or advised them to do in the last time that we spoke to them. So I want you to remember the people that you are working with. You have to maintain what we call a doctor frame because they are really, in essence, your patients. Even though we're not medical practitioners in the traditional sense, and we're not counselors in the traditional sense, they are still our patients. They're our clients, but they're our patients. And we'll get to know them very well. And we'll get to come to care about them because we're empaths. And so there's not anyone that I work with in any capacity that I don't care about deeply. But you have to maintain the frame, the stance that you have to remain objective. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is they're going to keep coming back to you for the same thing over and over again because they're looking to you to be their savior. Always does this. The minute I start talking, then I'm like, I'm not getting enough oxygen, so I yawn. That they're looking you to be their savior. Oh my gosh, Anna, there's snow in Chicago. It snowed last night here. Oh my God, it's snowing in Kansas. This is terrible. Sorry, total squirrel moment. Um, we're not their savior, and we have to remain outside of that savior complex. No one's coming on a white horse, a brown horse, a black horse, whatever one you wish, in a Benz or a Bentley to come and get you. Okay? Everything you need is within you. It's been placed within you. You were born with it. You're just needing to remember and then utilize it properly. But people will come and they will want you to give them all of the answers and they will want you to do the work for them. And when people come to you with the same issue and have made no progress, it really becomes time for you to begin to disconnect. And you got to be sure you have that boundary up so that they're not becoming dependent on you. And you're not becoming codependent on the energy rush or the hormonal rush that you get in the 3D because you're an empath that's helping someone. And this is someone that's in pain. Because we all get that. That's a real thing. Like, we feel the best when we're helping other people. So we have to be very careful that we don't get sucked into that cycle as well. Now, what do I mean by coming to you with the same thing over and over again and not making any changes? You can come to me, and a lot of people do, and they're either in or getting out of a toxic relationship, let's just say. Because those are some of the toughest for people to overcome, a toxic romantic relationship. A toxic romantic relationship. And then maybe you have a Reiki session with them, and maybe you begin to do sacral chakra work with them and heart chakra work, and we talk about how we got to this place and what we need, what we need to do, or what energies are here, memories, what's been spoken over us, what did our parents, how did they, assist us in getting to this place where we think that toxic love is love and we don't deserve any better. Like, that's a common thing people are going to come to you with. Common. It's probably common for a lot of us. We've had to deal with and overcome. And you do these Reiki sessions, and you do these energy sessions, and maybe you read their chart and you read their tarot, and you give them all this great stuff to do. And then 3 weeks later, we're back to, I missed them. Can't stop thinking. Can't get rid of them. It's constant, right? Okay, let's deal with this. We'll go back to it again, and let's revisit, because there's probably some more roots. Legitimately. But I can tell you, if after 4 or 5 times of me having healing sessions with you, we're doing all this work, we're doing all this, this is where I want you to meditate, or this is the music I want you to listen to while you're sleeping, and these are the mantras that I want you to repeat, and we need, and going through, and in your own time outside of when I'm with you, do the meditative forgiveness work and do that healing work yourself. And we're now 4 to 5 months in, or 4 to 5 sessions in, and we're still at the same place basically we were when we first started, where we are still wanting this person or wanting this thing, whatever the case is. It's getting to that point then where I honestly get to the point where I'm like, okay, you know what? There's nothing I can do to help you. That's when the tough love, that's when that doctor frame, that's when that like clinician, if you will, in a sense, has to come out. Because what's going to happen is you're developing a codependency here. And by your silence, you will be giving affirmation and consent to that relationship. You're creating cords, and this was something that came up during the weekend, and I feel like I may have poo-pooed and dismissed it, but I wasn't intending to, so I want to correct it. You do make a connection with everyone you work with. What you don't do is create a cord. So you do, if you've ever done a Akashic record reading with me, I very clearly state that we are connecting a golden thread, heart chakra to heart chakra. And I believe I said this in the teaching. We're connecting a golden thread, not a cord. And when we're done, I'm disconnecting that thread, and we're no longer connected in that fashion. I don't want to create a cord with you. That's unhealthy. I don't want you to create a cord with me. That's unhealthy. And when people don't do the work, that is very different from I start at this beginning, and then we do 4 to 5 different sessions, And different things come to light, and we make great progress here, but then the next layer comes up, and then the next layer, and then the next layer where we're making progress. And I know I don't have a specific, like, laid out, like, okay, this is what progress looks like, because it's going to look different for everybody. You will intuitively know if this person is making progress or if they're not, or if they're just choosing to stay stuck. If someone is staying stuck and they're choosing to, you cannot do anything for them. They have to choose to participate, right? They've got to meet you halfway. Actually, they need to meet you 3/4 of the way, because I'm not pulling you across the finish line. I'm empowering you to be a healed and whole being, at peace, nothing missing, nothing broken, not at dis-ease, but at ease. So I don't want anybody here that's here with me, or people that are listening later, please do not get your panties in a bunch. I'm not talking about you. Okay? If the shoe don't fit, Cinderella, please, or stepsister, please stop trying to put it on. You all are taking the leap and are actively doing the work to grow. I'm just talking about people that you're going to encounter. Okay? In that regard, too, there are other business boundaries we have to set up. As you're starting your business, as you're contemplating what this is going to look like, if you're not, quite starting yet, I want you to come up with, what are your business hours going to be? What days of the week are you going to work? And hold to that as much as possible. But create that calendar for yourself. Google has calendars. Yahoo has calendars. I'm assuming there's Calendly. There's all sorts of calendars that you could use out here. But set up your business hours and the days that you're going to work. You might find that you're working, if you have a job right now, you might find that you're working 7 days a week. I don't advise doing it very long. Matter of fact, if I had to do all over again, I would have set the boundary with myself, because I can be a workaholic. I need that stimulation all the time, right? So it's like triple cardinal. So the Cancer in me wants to make my home, right? The Aries moon in me is like, yeah, let's do this. Yes, let's do that. That sounds great. Woohoo! Awesome. And then the Cap rising in me is like, work, 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 work. So I really have to find my own balance, and I have to really set my own boundaries, and I don't do a good job of that all the time. So if I had it to do all over again, I would schedule a day that I have completely off and hold it from everything. Okay? So try to at least have one of those days, at least one day off, because you need to recoup and recharge and self-care. And if you got to take a day off in the middle of the week because you just ain't feeling it, don't feel guilty. You did what you had to do. Apollo's going crazy upstairs. I don't know who's at home or who's around. Other boundaries. Oh, by the way, those boundaries with your business hours, you may, if there's people at home, right, that you're, partners or, family, it makes sense to have a conversation with them to say, I'm taking this seriously. I've set up my part-time business hours. I just want everybody to know this is what we're doing. And I just ask that, we all support one another in this. But this is really important to me. And I'm putting the energy into it. Again, if I had it to do all over. Now, when I started this, it was just literally me. that wasn't even Gemini and Virgo. It was just me in the house. So I did not have anybody else to be accountable to or to really, whatever, I work when I work. And the person that I was seeing at that time, they were extremely busy. So it just worked. The relationship worked. Everything worked. It was just fine. Nobody bothered me. I was working around the clock and whatever. Probably should have had somebody I was accountable to and that I was like, you can't work all the time. Now I have to have the conversations with the family. Listen, this is this is my hours, blah, 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 blah. I'll try really hard not to work any past this, but so that we can all be supportive and of one another. Because it's not easy starting your own business, especially when you've got another whole job you're doing or another whole business you have. It's not easy. It's worth it, but not easy. But it's good to set those boundaries up there and get the support and get the buy-in. Okay? Because it's going to be a lot less fight. Pricing. Boundaries in your pricing, beloveds. Don't undercharge. I get it that for some of you, you just started doing this. Maybe you just started reading cards. Maybe you're just now learning natal charts. Maybe you're just like, girl, I just got my Reiki 1 this weekend. I can't be out here charging yada yada skippy. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. If you start if you start this process out undercharging, so let's say you only want to charge people like $10 for a tarot reading. First of all, the rest of us are going to be like, why are you out here undercutting? And anyway, no, that's not. We're going to look and we're going to say, she'll learn. Because let me tell you something. I understand the whole thing about we want to make sure that it's affordable. Right? That's us projecting that onto them. 9 times out of 10. There is the one that honestly can't afford it. People will buy what they value. And they will find the money. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is this. When I would have $30 tarot readings, I used to run a special a couple years back, 3 for 30, 3 questions for $30. Well, I would get multi-part questions. So question number 1 in the email would have 5 questions within the one, or 5 clarification questions after the first question, and so on and so forth. That was not right. The second thing is, even though I said it's going to be, I'd leave myself a certain amount of time, there would be invariably some of those clients that would start emailing me 24 hours later. Where's my reading? I told you it was going to be at least 72 hours. Because they just needed it right then and there. So I promptly hit refund. You're going to find that a $30 client, by and large, a good chunk of them, are not going to be as appreciative. And they're going to be a bigger PIA, pain in the ass, than a $60. If you don't have any real skin in the game, if you don't make any real exchange of energy, it's an imbalance in the exchange. You're giving this much they're only putting in this much. And while you might end up with maybe all of your clients are going to be fantastic, God bless you. I hope so. There will come a time when you begin to get ghosted, when you begin to get pressured, when it's, well, that's completely wrong. And you know good and gosh darn well, when you said what you said, it was completely right because you trust your higher self. It's going to come a time where you're going to begin to resent. You're going to feel a type of way just in general. It ceases to be fulfilling and fun. And that sounds cold. I'm not trying to be cold. I'm just being honest. The amount of energy you are going to put into everything that you do, you need to value you. You need to value the experiences, the wisdom, the love, the light, the effort, the empathy, the sacrifices that you make to become your most highest self, walking in your greatest good and doing your purpose and completing your mission. You need to value that. And if you lowball yourself, you're not showing value. You're not showing you're valuing yourself. Now, I'm not saying run around here. Me personally, for the longest time, I think it was like $65 for a half hour worth of reading time with me and $100 for an hour for the longest time. Because that was literally all that I could, like, resonate. Like, I just couldn't go any further. There are plenty of people out here that charge way more than that. I just couldn't. They do them. There's a space that you can get to where you're like, this resonates and this is good and this feels right. For example, what I would say is quote unquote industry standards for Reiki for a half hour, $55 to $65. For an hour, $100 to $125. Distance or in person. That seems to be, as I've talked to a lot of Reiki practitioners and Reiki masters and master teachers all across the country, that seems to be about right. For Akashic record readings, I'm actually on the lower end of average at 150. Most are probably, there's a good chunk of us that are right around 200, 225, and I've seen upwards to 3. But $150 to $200, about right. For live sessions, period, I feel there is a standard of like that 55 to 65 and then 100 to 150 or so, 200. I'm never going to begrudge anybody for charging $225 for an Akashic record reading. Never. That's what resonates with them. People will pay it. I will tell you, though, I look at when I see someone, there was someone recently, I hope they're not here. I've seen people that are charging $30 and $50 for an Akashic record reading. And I'm like, what? Like, I question it. I question the quality of it, right? So just think about that in your own life. When you see certain things at certain prices, whether it's in the spiritual realm or not, if it seems to be too good to be true, doesn't it feel like it probably is? And I question why they're not valuing themselves more. I'm sure there's plenty of people that'll pay it. And it might feel like I'm harping a lot on this right now. I'm just I'm telling you this because this is hands down when I talk to my peers, people that are doing the same things that I'm doing right now, and we talk about our journeys. I in my the faces are different, the names are different, but the journey is still the same. We all say the same thing. Oh my God, I started out and I was doing this, and let me tell you, people really, really tried it. They really got. I mean, we should have trusted our eternal self more earlier on. Because when you come at it from that space, you're also coming at it from an energy of lack, and you don't lack anything. Okay? So set boundaries about what's your value. So you start thinking about these things and saying, okay, well, this is what da da da. You when you land at a price that feels good and it's a little bit of a stretch. I had a ceiling, couldn't charge any more than 100. Okay, that was my ceiling. Just don't do like fire sales with everything, okay? It doesn't end well for either one of you. It just doesn't. Um, boundaries, boundaries with your clients. If your service is 3 questions for $45 and you expressly say single questions and you send them their video or their audio, hopefully, probably it's a video, and you say you can email me back with a couple of questions once, don't let them keep coming back for multiples. It is really okay that second time they want some clarification questions that they need to, okay, well, you need to book another time. Keep your doctor frame. Mm. Speaking of doctor frame, I want you, no matter what um, social media platform you're using to do your readings or whatever you're offering, any type of spiritual service, and definitely on your websites as they're created, if they're already in existence, you absolutely have to have a refund policy. You absolutely have to have disclaimers. If you are on YouTube and you are doing readings, um, if you notice on my channel in my description box, I have a very simplistic um, disclaimer. Any of this esoteric or metaphysical content, basically, I'm like, I am not to be held responsible for how you take this information and what you do with it. I always also state that do not take any of this advice in lieu of a medical professional. Matter of fact, I don't like doing health readings. If I get a question about a health related situation, sometimes I answer it, sometimes I don't. But if I do answer it, I'm like, this is not to substitute what you heard from your doctor or your therapist or whatever. Do not get out here and get sued. I've known people who either their client has sued them or their client's family, and they didn't have these disclaimers. Because I could tell you what will happen sometimes. You'll tell somebody, okay, go play these 6 lottery numbers. Okay? I'm just saying. If you want to tell anybody what numbers to play, please call me. Okay? Um, but here, play these numbers. Or, they'll say, oh, I'm going to the casino tonight. Okay, you tell them, okay, we'll take $200 and you're going to win $2,000. And then their fool butt will say, Oh, well, she said take 200. Well, I'm going to take 8. And I'm going to come home with 8,000. Because they got it in their bright idea that they were just going to multiply it. No. You still coming home with that same 2,000. Now, that was still a pretty good night, 800 and 2,000. But my point is they can come back to you and say, well, you told me that I'd win 2,000 for every 200. No, fool. I said take 200 and you win 2,000. And that's a tongue-in-cheek thing to say, example. But I'm telling you, people will take this, not that what we're saying is incorrect, but you have to protect yourself. So I avoid certain things like medical readings, health-related readings. There are some people out here that do it, and if you're going to do it, you have to have a very tight disclaimer. You can write your disclaimer out and feel free to get it to me, and we'll look at it. I'll send it off to, like, I have Rocket Lawyers, so I'll send it to them and say, hey, how does this sound? It needs to be tight. You need to protect yourself. Also, make sure in your country, your state, make sure about whatever ordinances or laws there are about. Believe it or not, in most all the 50 states, and actually in a lot of the countries, there are some laws about spiritualists and tarot readers and intuitives and all of this kind of stuff. Make sure you know what you can and can't do. Make sure you know that your disclaimer is bright and tight that way. Okay? Also, with Reiki healing, we cannot come out here and say that we heal anybody. And in actuality, we don't heal anybody. We are a conduit for universal life energy. So be very careful about the claims that you make about healing, physically especially. We assist, we empower, we set them on the path, we're their tour guide or their trip guide or whatever. We're not their healer. All right? So be sure you're not out here saying that. It does work, but I'm just saying to protect yourself. And why do I put this under the boundary level? Because I need to set expectations with my clients and with the general public. What I will and won't do, what you should and should not expect. Refunds. My refund policy is if you cancel within less than 24 hours, you do not get your money back. Period. And I have the right to decide if we're going to reschedule or not. Period. You can do whatever refund policy you want, but I suggest you have one. I've gotten burned way too many times by not having a refund policy or a non-refundable policy. Whatever you're comfortable with is what you need to do. Boundaries. Set that boundary about your money and your time. Your time is precious. And if you don't have that non-refundable policy in place, after your first, second, and third ghosting, you're going to kick yourself and be like, ugh, wished I did. This is personal experience. Boundaries. And don't forget, for those of you that have not, please do go and get your ordination through Universal Life Church. It's online. You're a Reiki practitioner now. And some of you already have been. But you're a spiritual practitioner anyway. Go and get that ordination because that affords you some legal protection as well. How does this relate to your boundaries in your personal life? If the boundaries aren't properly set for proper relationships and interactions in your private life, sometimes that can bleed over to your professional life and vice versa. Especially as you become an entrepreneur and this becomes what you begin to give your purpose permission to provide for your person, you start walking in it. What happens is that personal and professional begin to just kind of, those lines are really blurred because what we do is so personal, I think, or I don't know, but I guess it's that way with just about any other business, entrepreneurial endeavor. Um, but if you're allowing a lot of toxic relationships to exist in your personal life, they're going to exist in your professional life. If you've not begun to set up proper boundaries for friendships, relationships, whatever ship that person is on, it will bleed into your personal life, your professional life. Your professional life is going to be a mirror of what's going on in your personal life. So let's be sure that we're setting the healthy boundaries in our personal lives so that we can thrive as individuals. It's okay to be a little selfish and take care of yourself because you can't do anything for anyone if you're not taking care of yourself. It's okay to say, this doesn't make me feel loved, wanted, and appreciated. It's okay to recognize I've been seeking validation through these different people. That's an area I need that I should look at. Excuse me, and begin to heal. When you're in this spiritual space, especially to me, the boundaries are the hardest to set. It's easy. It was easy when I was working for someone else. These are the hours that I work. I disconnect. We're done. And if I was salaried, I'd give you a little bit more. And that was always the big thing about being salaried, was that the company basically owned you because they're like paying you all this, and so for some reason they think that they can just intrude on your life all the time. And that's not cool. But especially when it's ours, and especially in this space, because we deal with emotion and energy and people and all of this, it all gets kind of weirded into one another. It just melds. Be very careful you to set the structure and set the boundary and set the time where you're done. I'm going to be completely transparent. I don't do a good job of that. And then every once in a while, I pay the price for it. And that's usually I get like knocked down by some little piddly cold. My immune system isn't as strong. When your auric field is not strong, your body field, your immune system will not be as strong. When you're run down energetically, your body is run down. Got nothing. And then some little sniffly cold comes along from your really cute granddaughter that wanted to sleep with you one night and likes having sleepovers in grandma's bed, and all of a sudden you're down for the count for, gosh darn it, about 3 days. I wasn't setting proper boundaries. Okay? When you're in the spiritual space, it's not as if you can just turn it off at 5, though, right? You feel all the time you're walking in this 5D energy. You're walking as this ascended being. So I'm not saying to turn it off, but what I am saying is when it's time for the work to be done, let the work be done. And whatever gets done, gets done. Whatever doesn't, doesn't. Period. No assignment of guilt, no assignment of shame. It just doesn't get done. Because there's tomorrow when we can work on it again. Be okay with that. Be okay with saying no as well. Saying no to I'm not going to keep accepting all of your stuff, all of your garbage. Be okay with saying no to we might need to rethink how we're all interacting with one another, right? Be okay with no. Be okay with standing up for yourself. Be okay with that. Be okay with the sentiment that what you're doing is important work and the knowledge thereof. And be okay with not being okay with people that disrespect it. Don't let people make you feel guilty because you want to build something that's outside the norm, or you're building something that's outside the norm. Don't let people make you feel guilty because you're not walking any of the Judeo-Christian whatever religions. Be okay with it. Yeah, be okay. Um, be okay with setting the boundary that we don't, our families don't have to understand everything that we're doing. They just need to respect us and be okay with saying, that's your opinion. Awesome. Not mine. So this whole boundary setting thing, this isn't the traditional boundaries that I'm talking about. This is really setting up a structure so that within that you can thrive, but also not letting people cross that line in any area. Don't let anybody cross those lines. And honor and value yourself enough, more than enough, that you can thrive, that you can fulfill your purpose, and that you can feel comfortable and good in doing it and know that nobody's taking advantage of you. That to me is the biggest thing to remember with this. Don't let people take advantage of you. Okay? Hey, Miss AJ, how are you? I got your email, just haven't had a chance to respond, honey. Oh, good. We're about the same time I was last night. Um, so I'm going to open up the floor. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody have any thoughts? Anybody have any areas we're not setting boundaries? You want some help with it?
I have a question, Lisa.
Yeah.
Um, so I have an idea. I don't know. What if you have a client that wants to see you after hours and they're willing to pay that $100 after hours fee or that $250 after hours fee? Like, is that just a personal decision? Like, okay, I'll get up at 1 o'clock in the morning to see someone in Australia for an extra 200 that day, or is that just a case by case basis? Or like, how do you approach that personally and then professionally to the client
Yeah.
when they ask?
So personally, I check myself personally first. Is it something that I'm willing to do? Is it something that I want to do? Because sometimes I charge people more, sometimes I don't. Um, especially if they're in a country where it's so hard to align time zones. You know what I'm saying? I'll make some exceptions for that. But I try not to do it on a very regular basis. I think it's perfectly fine to have after hours or outside hours or emergency upcharge and whatnot. But that's just complete case by case basis. And just be sure that it's not because you're chasing the money.
No, it would be more like someone's had a death in the family, or
Oh, that's
someone's
different.
child is sick, has gone to the hospital, and you
Yeah,
know what
that's
I
different.
mean? Something
Yeah, that's an
catastrophic
emergency.
like
Yeah,
that. That would be an
yeah.
emergency. Now, would I charge them for that? No. But now, if they want me to come down to the hospital and be with that person in the hospital, then yeah, I would probably, I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
It's
I don't know.
honestly case by case. So
Yeah.
when that kind of thing has happened, like when someone's sick or someone's this or someone's that, um, especially if they're a regular client of mine, I actually probably wouldn't charge anything.
Right. Yeah.
If it is a situation where it's a less than really urgent situation, and but in your mind it's like the end of the world. Yeah, no, no. Now we're gonna, nah, yeah. If I feel like it, then yeah, we're gonna have to kick in a little bit extra because this really isn't that important. You really could wait till later. Yeah. So it's case by case. I
Okay.
just advise don't get into the habit of it because once you start getting in the habit, then you're done. You don't have any more real hours. It's just you're always on call basically.
Yeah. No, I know someone that's 24 hours a day, always open. And I'm like, how can you do that? How can you be on 24 hours a day? There's no way. So I was just curious. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. No, no, I'm almost done. She's literally scratching at that door and just sounding like she's gonna die if I don't open that door up. So pitiful. So pitiful. Any other questions or thoughts?
Hey Lisa,
Yes.
obviously I goofed. I thought it was 9 o'clock Mountain Time, and I don't know what time I am anymore. I've been in so many different time zones, and then changing and setbacks and jump backs, and I don't know. So
I
I'm
know.
assuming that it's going to be 8 o'clock my time.
Actually, Mountain Time would be 9 Mountain Time, yes.
Yeah,
But
yeah, which I just joined, and yeah, so I'm assuming we're 8 my time.
you must be on Pacific now. You must have changed over.
Maybe. I don't know. I know Arizona never changes, but I don't know. I don't know anymore. Anything's possible. So
Oh,
I
I
think
thought.
Arizona's back on our time, Pacific time. I think
Yeah.
well, I
California
thought.
switched back. No, California switched back to Arizona's time. So we're back on
Yeah.
even.
See, I
We're
always look
back.
at it
Yeah.
as you change, we don't
Yes, we
change.
changed. Yeah. So California is on Arizona's time now. So you would be
Right. Okay.
Pacific when she
I
says
would be
Pacific.
Pacific time. Got it. Okay. Lord have mercy.
I,
It's okay. I
I'm
do it
glad y'all
too.
understood that one because I
No,
don't.
I text Lisa all the time and I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, we've been traveling, so I've been from Columbus, Ohio to Arizona and all the different time zones in between, and I have no idea anymore.
Oh God. Yeah, you did the full swing. You did the full
Yes.
3 hour swing. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. The only reason I remember Pacific, well, not the only reason, but I remember Pacific time all the time because because when I was working for Humana, my
Oh
territory
yeah.
was in Pacific time zone.
Oh yeah.
So I literally was living my life in Central, but literally living Pacific. So
Exactly.
I actually have a harder time with Central time zone now than I do with you all's. It's like I
Wow.
almost like automatically it's like, okay, it's on that time. And but now it's like I have and forget about East Coast. I'm just like, oh, whatever. I don't get it.
Don't even
I,
know anymore.
I don't know. I think you're this time. I don't know. So yeah. So yeah, I feel you.
Cool, cool.
I feel you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else, guys? Because I'm gonna let y'all go if not. Kiana, how you doing
I
there,
had a
girl?
question.
Okay.
I'm good. My allergies are terrible. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I look like Rudolph right now.
Now my
But
allergies are bad too.
yeah, it hurts. It pains me. But I wanted to ask because I am gonna have my own vendor booth at this event this weekend for like my tarot reading and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm still having like a hard time with like prices. I was just changing some of my prices on Etsy while you were talking, because I
Okay.
just felt it it resonated.
Good.
So I
Good.
started charging like more on the Etsy. But I was like trying to figure out what you guys think would be like a good idea, because I feel like I should do some kind of special because it's like my first event. Like, what do you think sounds like reasonable?
Okay, how long is
I
the event?
Let me see. Mm, oh, okay. It's on Saturday and it's from 4:30 to 10. And it's like it's called the Love Yourself Foundation. So there's a bunch of like, they're gonna do like a sound bath and different like meditation stuff. And then I'm just gonna be one of like the vendors.
That'd be
could work
fun.
on energy, like someone's energy and all. And
Hmm. Look how cute it is. Hold on, I'm gonna show it to you guys.
could she do
I
like a
worked it.
one card draw and a three card draw for a certain amount of money?
I would think like
Yeah,
no more
I
than
was
a
thinking
three
something
card.
like that. No more than a 3 card. I was thinking that too for sure.
Like one
But I'm
card for, and I know people that do one card for 15, three cards for 40 or 45 or something like that. I don't know. But I don't know if it's different at an event like that. It would be different. Would it be
mhm.
different pricing, Lisa?
I mean, at the event, well, I probably, oh God, I would never charge 15 for one card, but I have seen that.
Yeah.
Um, Gosh. So on
Like I
Anna's
don't know if
saying
I should just
$25
keep
a
my.
question. I would probably, if I was gonna do, to me, I would try to keep it like a right around maybe either like a 15 and 25 or something like that. And then um I would probably do $15 for one question, 25 maybe for two, or I would do 15 for an oracle card and then maybe like 25 for a three card draw with an oracle because the oracle at least is going to give you something to go on. Um, it might give you a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe you're really in tune with your tarot, and if you are, that's great. But I feel like an oracle would give you like something to really kind of like draw on.
Hmm.
And then uh, the then you could do oracle with the three card, or just because people may or may not they might get it, they might not. I think 15 for one and 25 for two questions. They can come up and ask a question. You do your three card draw. Not a whole lot of clarification, just until you get what you feel you need to get, and you can get in and get out. And then you got two questions. However you want to handle
Yeah.
that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's like kind of what I was thinking because it's like almost in relation to how I do now my Zoom calls, like
Hmm.
pricing. So like, yeah, okay,
And I'm only saying doing it that way with that pricing because you're gonna have you want to get as many people to your booth,
done as possible. Exactly.
right?
Like
I have
Yep.
speed runs.
I had an idea, Sam. Could you do like three cards, $20, and then if you want an Oracle card, give me an extra five?
Yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah. Like, hey, oh, I can give you an advice card, an Oracle card for five if you want, and
Oh, I like that.
put that on there.
Okay, so 15 for one question tarot, 25 for two question tarot, plus
An advice card. Just
plus
and you can use the
plus
Oracle
5 for
card,
advice card.
yeah, or whatever you want. Yeah.
Okay, I like that one too.
Yeah.
Think
Yeah.
Just
about it.
whatever you do, keep it simple and don't do
Simple.
too many different. Like I say, you just have two choices. So whatever you do, two choices. And if you want to do the special add-on with the or I like that $5 for the Oracle card. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
The special add-on with that, cool. But don't give them a whole menu list. Like make it one or two
Right,
things you really
right. I want it
mess with.
like little
Yeah, it's
small little,
yeah, and don't put the
yeah.
Oracle card, $5 Oracle card on the list.
Just say
Just
it.
keep that to yourself. That way the
Okay, yeah.
menu is simple.
Right.
Otherwise
Okay,
people
and
are
they're
going to
like,
pay
yeah,
you
yeah.
Yeah, otherwise people are going to pay you $5 for Oracle cards all day. So keep the Oracle card
Exactly.
to yourself and just keep, like Lisa said, those two. Yeah, that'll be awesome.
I like that. It's a good idea. Do you good
Yep.
opportunity. Do you have like any type of business cards, girl, or anything so they can contact you afterwards?
No, I need to make some. My husband's gonna help me remake a new logo,
Okay.
but I just realized that it was actually this Saturday. I thought I had more time to prepare, but I'm gonna do all of that today.
And you can get a business cards done at like Staples or Office Depot like within hours.
Yes, exactly. I was gonna say the same thing. Yes.
Alright,
Yep. So you still
cool,
got a
yeah.
day or two going and get your logo together and everything. And then just make sure that your Etsy shop is on there because that's where you're doing your readings and stuff. And go on and go over to Office Depot or Staples or whatever, and they'll print them within like sometimes within the hour. It's crazy, but
Yeah,
within like 3 or 4 hours, you just upload it and go pick it up.
yeah. My
So
boyfriend
because if
got
you're gonna
like
keep it
two, yeah,
simple,
yeah,
I'm
keep it.
sorry.
Oh, sorry, Connie, go
No,
ahead.
I was just thinking like if you just keep it simple, just to have something for right now to give to them, and then you and your
Right,
husband take your time to
Hmm.
get your logo and all your other nice stuff
yeah.
together. Yeah,
The
just to
state,
have
yeah.
something to give.
So just like the name and then like info type thing.
Yeah, and put a little.
They have logos at Staples and Office
Yeah,
Depot you can use.
They sure do.
Yeah,
Mm,
and for
If you
your
go onto the
name and
website,
everything. Yeah.
yeah,
My boyfriend
you
did
could create
his
the whole
for
thing on the web.
a lot, for under, he got 500 business cards for under $20. Like, and you don't need that many. But what I'm saying is
mm-hmm.
it's affordable. And he got his logo, a whole bunch of stuff on, I mean, what he needed. But it's affordable. I have to go get mine too.
and if you have
And
your logo
then,
already ready, you can upload it
Hmm.
on there as well.
Yep.
Yep.
okay,
Bada
okay.
bing,
And
bada
then
boom.
I have one more question.
Uh huh.
Okay, so also with this event, I'm gonna sell like my samples for like my alternative herbal smoking and teas. And what do you think would be a fair price for samples? Because my idea at first, I have these little tins here. I'll show it to you guys. You guys are my
Okay.
friends.
I was gonna say I have no point of reference, honey.
I know. I'm just gonna show you I'll show you the packages I have and stuff. Where did it go? Okay, yeah, I have these little tins. They're like this. And then it opens like this. And I was just gonna put like little, cause the blends you could either smoke the blends or you can make them a tea.
Hmm.
That's like the little thing I'm working on. So these little packs will probably come with like little 4 babies, like baby rolls type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking like 40 per pack.
How many
And
ounces of the tea or whatever, the
um,
herbal, whatever?
let me see. I
Because
have
you could do it by the ounce, I guess. You could price
by
it
the ounce.
per ounce.
Okay.
I don't know that much about this.
Because
I'm just,
40 feels expensive to
yeah.
me.
I'm just thinking about Trader Joe's and how
40
they
for,
do their, how grocery stores do their seeds and nuts and stuff, and they do it by the pound and by the ounce.
uh-huh. Okay, okay. I will probably base it off that. Let's see. And then here's like the little package for the teas. So it'll probably be like this.
Oh, nice.
That's
Okay,
so cute.
cool.
Yeah, I'll put it in
So
this
it,
bag.
it it depends on your cost versus your, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably pay 15. Well, see, this is the thing. I don't know how much those little. That's so cute. Those test
Vials,
tubes with the
yeah.
cork.
Test
Oh my
tubes,
God,
yeah.
those are cute. And the tins are cute too.
Yeah.
I don't know how much all of that costs, that packaging, because if it's a sample, I'm not thinking I'm paying more than $10, $15 for a sample. If this is a full size thing where this is really how much you'd be sending out, different story,
Mm-hmm. Like
right?
this would be like my first time selling them. That's why I think it would introduce like as a sample versus like an official launch kind of thing.
I would say a first time buy special or something like that. I wouldn't say, because when I think sample, I'm thinking free lipstick tube
Oh,
or
okay, sorry, I
free
worded it
face
wrong.
wipe, free makeup
Mm,
remover. I'm not
right.
thinking I'm gonna pay. I'm thinking a free goodie bag. And that's just me
Okay, right.
being frugal.
No, that's
So
that's
I
real.
feel
yeah,
it too.
and
Yeah.
so you may want to do like free first buyer special or something first
Or
time like
pre-launch or
pre-launch. Yeah, something that you're
Yeah.
new, your brand spanking new on the scene.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right. Okay. Pre-launch.
That's a
Got
good
it.
something
idea.
that advertises you. Sorry, Lisa.
No, you're right. And that so if this is the pre-launch and you've got these particular herbs and teas available, this is kind of the sneak peek or whatever the case is, but this is now I'm willing to spend 25, 30, 35. I'm willing to spend more now because I'm getting it before everybody else.
And I'm helping small
Right.
business.
Oh, thanks,
But I
Stacy. We'll talk to you soon, honey.
Bye, Stacy.
can also tell you that sometimes it's important because people are going to want to know what the full product, like the price of whatever you're going to actually be selling, is going to be. I know that from the business I'm in. So, like pricing out your ingredients, your time, your vessel, everything you're using, and then doing the math there to see what it actually is costing you. And then we usually mark things up 50%. That's the formula we use, but that might be something because people will want to know, oh, well, I like this sample so much when I go to buy it, what's it going to cost me? So might be
Right.
something to
Okay.
do.
That's good, Joanna.
Okay. Up
Yeah,
50.
because is
That's
that
like,
the
yeah,
full
okay.
size or what are you doing full size? You see what I'm saying? Like, I think that's also
Yeah.
a point of reference we don't necessarily. You can't have my coffee.
Remember, you got to look out for you first. You got to look out
Right.
for your bottom line first. You want to
Right.
heal people, you want to help, but you can't do that if you have no money.
Period. I really
True
can't.
that.
I really can't.
Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
blunt.
Okay.
I can't soften stuff up. I try.
No, that's a true
No, yeah, you
statement.
did.
Okay,
No, that's
okay,
true.
okay, okay. We're done.
Yeah, but yeah, Joanna's
Okay.
right. Do your calculations with your what you spent, how much time, effort, supplies.
Yeah,
Mark it up.
you're worth it.
You're worth it. Yeah. Don't
That's right.
undervalue yourself.
Right.
Thank
You're
you.
you're aggressive. This is
That's
why I
Debbie.
watch you because
I will be loved right now.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right now.
Very, very
So
cool.
sweet.
Okay.
Can I
Oh
ask
my
All right.
one
goodness.
quick question?
Yep.
Okay. I was wondering, I had to, since I'm at work, I had to jet out for just a minute while you were talking about like when you have to cut people off, like you've tried to help them and they're not helping themselves kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you addressed this. So if you did, I apologize. If you have people like that, but you know, as healers or empaths or just as people, you might have that part of your brain that still wants them to go and be whole and heal and find their well-being. Is it enough at that point when you cut them loose to just like ask your higher self to kind of keep them, kind of like offer up a little intention for them and then just like walk away from it? Is that necessary in a metaphysical space? Like to me, it's a very Christian, coming from like a Christian idea of like kind of offer something up for them and then just hope that their inner being responds to that. Can we do that kind of thing and then just kind of feel like we've done our part?
Yeah, oh, definitely. I do that all the time.
Yes.
I
Couldn't
do that all
believe
the
it.
time because I still want them to be healed. It's a shame that they're not doing what they're not willing to put in the work. But you know, yeah, I offer it up all the time. Or that
Okay.
they interact with somebody that can help them, that they
Right.
resonate with.
Okay.
Come on, stop fighting.
Okay. I know that that sounds weird, but I just didn't know if that's like something we do in this space. Is that appropriate to do in this space?
Hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There are people out there that will literally drain you dry, and you keep going back over it and over it and over it, and nothing changes on their side, except for you're still sitting there trying to help them through it, trying to get their way, and it just doesn't work.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And sometimes
I mean,
people don't know they're doing it too.
No, they don't.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Sometimes they're so injured, and sometimes they're so right deep within they can't see it.
Hi, Gemini. Is that
And
Gemini, right? Yeah.
yeah, it's Gemini. Yeah, he's the one.
The other side of him's coming back for lumps.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's mad because she couldn't sleep with me last night because the dog was sleeping in the bed, and they're all beefing. So there's no sleeping. The life forms can't figure out how to get along.
Nope.
Um, so she's mad because she couldn't sleep with mommy last night. Yeah, there's just they're so injured you just can't. And there so then sometimes again what I'll do is I'll just actually put it out in the universe that there's someone that can meet them where they're at in an effective way that they're going to resonate with and that they're going to put in the work. And honestly though there are some people that just really kind of like staying where they're at in that. They'll say I want help. They'll stop. They'll say I want to be whole. And there is a portion of them, their higher self portion, that yes, does want that. But then there is their lower self, their third dimensional self, that's too scared to let go of everything, the only thing that they've known, which is pain and suffering. And until they resolve that battle, there's nothing we can do for them. Okay, Kiana, thank you, honey. Okay. All right, guys. Anything else today before Gemini and I beef and fight?
Yeah, just real quick, just one more thing. For the
Yeah.
cord, right? The entanglements, codependency, those are all the same when we sever or break those cords, if they do become attached to us. We still cut those entanglements that same way
Uh-huh.
and those
Yeah.
codependency, because sometimes they come and we don't know. Like sometimes
That's
people
very
attach,
true.
yeah, and I don't know it.
Yeah.
So, okay.
A lot of times you'll get if it's not a full-fledged cord,
But I can feel it, yeah. The
yeah,
thread,
but,
yeah.
but you can feel it. Yeah, you kind of, it's like you're a little too attached. Um, just simply kind of going within yourself and saying, okay, why have I allowed this attach? Like, where did this attach itself to me? Because sometimes there's something that we've just got to deal with within real quick and be like, oh, wait, I didn't, that's still there. Let me deal with that and kind of like reinflate our aura. And they kind of fall off. So you don't always have to do a full-fledged, like, formalized, I'm kind of cutting you here. Sometimes just on our own healing process, it just falls off.
Yeah,
You
I've
know?
learned to ask why a lot lately.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always ask why to get to why am I feeling this way? Okay, why
Yep.
is that? Yeah.
Yep.
And it's amazing the surprise because it's not the answer you think.
Nope. Not at all. Is it Gemini?
Oh boy.
She's got the answer she wanted. Love me, love me. Awesome. Anything else?
Oh, are we still meeting on Saturdays?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So
No,
Tuesdays
ma'am.
now.
You have the choice between Monday
Ooh,
evening,
Monday evening.
6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific, or Tuesday mornings, 10 a.m.
Ah,
Central, 8 a.m. Pacific.
damn, all these new choices.
Yes, so that Lisa could free up her weekend.
Yes. Good for you. That's hard. That's hard.
It is, but it was
Yeah.
a necessary choice for
For
my
you.
mental health. So stop it.
Lisa,
Don't get
I
my
have a
coffee
quick
either.
question.
Yes, ma'am.
I know this weekend there was mention of the tarot, and then today there was mention of the tarot. Was this something that you taught in the past, or was this something that will be in the future?
So there in the YouTube playlist, there are a series of tarot videos. And then in Dropbox, there is a folder that contains
Yep.
the additional tarot PDFs.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So those are modules that I went over before and that you can watch now. And then when I open up the Reiki shares and like kind of the practice rooms, and then you guys will be able to just kind of come in as you want. And we'll have the practice room, the open gym, open, and you guys can kind of come in and practice as you want.
Okay, I didn't know if we would be doing that again, but just go back and review what was already recorded. Okay.
Yep. I might revisit it again soon. I want to kind of wrap up a couple things here. Because I gotta get my first folks graduated because they've been with me for now what months?
Let's see. I don't know. December. 5 months. Only 5 months.
I'm only
Four
2
and a
months
half.
late.
Yeah, 4.5
Well, we
months.
took some time off for the holidays though
But
too.
we're the first babies. We're
Yes.
the firstborns.
Yes. Yes.
Bless you, Connie.
So they got the benefit of, I don't know if it's a benefit, but anyway, me
Yeah.
teaching everything fresh.
Yeah. No, I loved it. I learned a lot.
So we might go back through some of those things, but what we're going to do is, as I kind of wind this part down, then these will turn into Q&A sessions, and then as you're ready, then we'll be doing the testing and things like that. So these will just turn into Q&As and Geminis. session of coming in and talking to y'all, because evidently she has a lot she wants to say. But that's definitely something we can definitely revisit, Connie. I have zero issue doing that.
Thank you.
So it's weird because she's got to look over there. Do you see Elizabeth here? Look. She's like, I don't know what's going on.
You're blowing her little kitty mind.
Oh my gosh. All right, guys. Well, let me go and grab my afternoon meal, I guess, my late morning meal. Thanks, guys, for being here. I will put this one up and yesterday's